Hey, happy Valentine's Day. Today we're going to talk about love. Now, it is Valentine's Day, so of course we're going to talk about love. But there's different kinds of love. One kind of love is like your opinion about something, like you really like something, like I love to eat strawberries. Like I want a Cookie Monster strawberries. I want to eat them so it's red all over my face. Well, it is Valentine's Day. But that's actually not the kind of love we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the kind of love that's an action, a doing. So it's loving people, caring for people, seeing people who need help, and then helping them. Now, if you look around and you think about the world and maybe your school or where you're at, it's not always kind and loving. But my hero, my Valentine's Day hero, Mother Teresa, she said, sure, there's going to be places and people who aren't loving and kind, but it's our job to look around and find the people who are caring for others and loving others. And she said, you can be that person. And she said, she could be that person. She learned that from her mom. And her mom taught her the golden rule. Now, the golden rule says treat others as you would want to be treated. The golden rule is a belief in every culture and every religion in the world has something kind of like the golden rule. And so Mother Teresa's mom taught her, and her mom said, first of all, she needed to love herself. Love yourself. It's the part, treat others as you would like to be treated. How do you want to be treated? Well, if you're kind and gentle and you think nice things about yourself, it's hard sometimes, but we have to work really hard to love ourselves. If we're hungry and we don't have anyone to give us food, but there's food in the next room and we're allowed to get it, care for myself. Get up and go and get something. So love yourself. Say kind things, think kind things, do kind things to yourself. Then, when other people around you are maybe not making good choices, I can say, you know what? Or maybe just bad things are happening to them. I can say, if I was in their situation, I would want them to love me, so I'm going to go and love them. So love others as you want to be treated. And so that's the golden rule. Now, Mother Teresa's mom taught her, and then Mother Teresa looked around her and she said, and she lived in a place called India. Now, India is in the continent of Asia, and India is near China. So this is the map of the United States. She did not live in the United States, but she did live from 1910 to 1997. So about 20 years ago, she passed away. And she looked around her and she said, you know what? There's babies who are hungry and there's people who need my love and I'm going to help them. So one time there were some babies and kids who needed food so bad they were going to die. Like they were really starving. We say that in the United States, but we don't know what that means. They were so hungry that if they didn't get food in the next week or the next day, they would die of hunger. And so she said, and a war was going on, and there was gunfight, and she said, that building over there is where the food is and where the rice is for the babies and the kids. I'm going to walk through there, through the gunfire, and I'm going to try to be as safe as I can and get the food and bring it back for the babies and the kids. And she did. She walked through there, she came back with the food, with the rice, and she fed it to them. And they didn't die because she was brave. Now, there was also people at that time in India who were really, really sick and were dying. And people didn't like to be near those certain kinds of people that were sick. And even the hospital said, you know what? We don't want you in our hospital. And some of them didn't have family didn't even want to love them. And Mother Teresa said, I can love that one person. So what she did is she would get medicine. She'd see someone who was living on the street and almost ready to die. And she would say, I'll get you some medicine. So she would try to find and get medicine for them. And if she couldn't, and the people died or they were about almost ready to die, she would just hug them and love them and say, you are important. My mom taught me everybody is important. And so are you. And that just made the world a difference to them. So that's how Mother Teresa loved the people around her. Now, Mother Teresa isn't alive anymore. 20 years ago, she passed away. But she left us with some things that she said, and also pictures that we remember her by. Here are some pictures. Here's a picture of her loving a boy who was starving and really, really hungry. And she got some rice for him. And if you can see his arm, see how skinny it is? He is so skinny because he didn't have food for days and weeks and months, and so he didn't have any fat on him, he barely had any muscle, and he was gonna die soon if he didn't get food. So here she is, he couldn't even lift his arms, and she was feeding him. And so there's one picture. Another picture, here's another one. And here she is loving on a little baby. Oh, now this baby was an orphan. He didn't have a mom or a dad that cared for him anymore. And so she would come and she would love him and she would care for him. Now she's not around, so we have pictures, but then we also have words. And some of the things she said this was one of them. Here's a picture to help us remember what she said. She said, if you can't feed or care for 100 people, just feed one. She said, the world's kind of like an ocean, and there's lots of people who are hungry or who need love and who need care. But I'm only one person, she said. I can't help everybody, but I can help one. There is a spot for me, and I can love the one person that's near me, that's around me, that's in my family, that's in my school. And that's going to make a world of difference to that person. Another thing she said was that a smile, I love this part, is the beginning of love. So in other words, even if you can't be helping and doing something, we can be doing a smile. We can be smiling. And we have to care for ourselves first before we can have that joy. But then once we have joy, we can smile, and then we'll share it to someone else. And then someone else will share a smile, and they'll care. And it'll spread, and grow, and grow, and grow, and grow. And so that's one way that we can love. Now, I challenge you as we end that think about where you live and the people around you that are hurting. And where can you give love and care for someone? Now it's Valentine's Day, so a great place to start is you're giving Valentine. So make sure that you give Valentines to everybody. Don't just give them to one person or the people that you really, really like, but give them to everyone. Everyone's important in your class. Everyone's valuable. Because if you don't give one, maybe someone else won't give one to that person, and then those kids aren't going to get any Valentines. And well, that's sure not a way to be loving. So let's change the world. One person at a time. Look around us. Let's be proactive. You and I can make the change, and love can win.